Yo, yo, what is the dealio? We are live on YouTube. YouTube, what up? If you're just tapping in, say what's up. We got a good one today. So be sure you locked in, you tapped in. Um, Today on Momentum Monday, I wanted to talk about how fortune favors the bold, right? Fortune favors the bold. And so also like just how are we gonna fearlessly make it happen this year? How are we gonna fearlessly get rich, right? And so for the year for 2025, right, we got a whole new year. I just want to say, like, you got to understand that fortune favors the bold, right? And when I say that, I mean, I feel like we've all heard that saying and we've all heard that phrase before. But when we really unpack that, you got to understand that no matter where you want to go in life, you got to be bold, right? You have to be bold no matter what. And so what does boldness look like, right? Before we get into what does like boldness look like, we got to get into like how do you pursue your fortune, right? And so when I say fortune favors the bold, or when I hear fortune favors the bold, I hear purpose. And so let me ask you, in order for you to experience fortune, you got to have a purpose. You got to be pursuing some level of a purpose, right? And that purpose is going to give you a reason for doing things, right? And when you have a reason for doing things, you're going to be able to act accordingly, right? So you act accordingly, right? You have a purpose and you are pursuing your fortune. Now, how do you become bold to get that fortune and to actualize that purpose, right? It all comes full circle. Everything works together. I want you to understand that. Everything works together. Every single thing works together. Everything in life, it all works together. And so you want to get your fortune, right? So you have to have a purpose and you got to operate out of a purpose. Okay? So, what are things that stop you from operating out of your purpose? If you just hopping on, say what's up in the comments. Let me know where you at. But what usually stops people from experiencing fortune, right? We got fear, we got external voices, we got life, right? We got exhaustion. You know, you tired of life. We got doubt. Now let's go into each and every one of these, right? Fear. I think that's the biggest one that we all know and are familiar with, right? Fear. Fear is something that is it's gonna hold you down. It's gonna keep you in a box. It's gonna keep you in prison. External voices keep you in prison too. You ever heard somebody say something and then you said it, but unaware that you had repeated something that somebody else said, and it's not something that you really even stand by or you would stamp, but you saying it, right? And then you realize, like, damn, that ain't even me. That's them. That's their voice, right? That's what external voices are, and that's how they stop you from getting what you want and experiencing your fortune, right? So we got Louisiana. We got Louisiana in the house. Um, so I want you to understand that if fortune favors the bold, we need to understand what is stopping us from getting certain things and a lot of external voices. I've had a lot of external voices over the years, right? Uh, Try to influence my decision, try to influence where I was going, try to influence it. But you have to be mentally strong and mentally tough and mentally focused to be able to get over and get through that valley of all these external voices, all these external expectations, all these things that everybody else wants you to do. But you got to look at, what do you want to do, right? We got Brooklyn. I love me some Brooklyn, right? So we got Louisiana and Brooklyn. But you have to get through that valley of external voices, right? Life. I've heard this before. Life be lifing. But it's like, you have to live above where life is at. You got to live above where life is at. You have to, right? So no matter what life is doing, you got to treat life as its individual entity instead of using life as an excuse, so to speak, right? I know that real things happen. And depending on what that real thing is, some things aren't as real as we give it credit for, right? I'm talking about everyday stuff. We use life as an excuse all the time to give us a reason why we didn't accomplish that thing. And it's like, you ain't going to experience nothing if you always allowing life to have an excuse for why you didn't do something, right? Exhaustion. And this is like a subset of life, right? A lot of people are just tired from life. A lot of people are just tired from how life has been doing and how it's been kind of getting people to respond. But you have to understand that life is always going to be existent. As long as you're here, life is always going to be here. Life ain't going nowhere. After you're gone, life's still going to be here. After I'm gone, life's still going to be here. So because of that, we can't allow life to mess with us. We can't allow life to stop us. We can't allow life to make us fold. Right? You got to be very, very, very focused and mentally intact with where you're going, what you're doing, and why you're doing it, right? I know we've heard this before. You got to have a why, but you really got to have a legit why as to why you are doing something. Why are you doing this thing? Because if you don't have a reason why you're doing the thing, you're going to fold. You're going to give up on a consistent basis. And these things, they sound cliche, but what I've learned is when you do something that's very boring over a period of time, you get maximum results. You get superhuman results. You get results that most people will never get, all because you just did the boring shit over and over and over and over again. Period. There's a lot of things that I don't want to do. There's a lot of things that I haven't wanted to do. But in order to get where I'm at right now, I had to slay certain things. I had to slay certain demons. I had to get rid of habits and thought processes. I had to grow. I had to evolve. I had to be bold. I had to be bold. There was no other way around it. And so, how bold are you? Right? How bold are you? How bold do you want to be? How bold can you be? How courageous are you? How courageous can you be? You got to ask yourself these things like, how, not even to sound cliche, but how bad do you really want the thing? I saw a clip of Draymond Green. He was talking to some college or some high school students, and he was like, yo, y'all don't want it as bad as y'all say because y'all lollygagging in practice. And we only talking about practice, right? But you got people that would die to be in your shoes. You got people that would die to be in your shoes, and you ain't even going hard during practice. But you want a trophy. You want a championship. You want all these things, right? You ain't operating out of boldness. You ain't operating out of confidence. You still allowing life to get in the way. You still allowing your exhaustion to get in the way. You still allowing the external voices to be the voice in your head, right? But you got to get over all of that. And you got to put yourself in a situation where you are in control of the ship, You steering the ship. I want you to steer the ship from now on, from here on out. You have to be bold. You have to be bold, right? You got to eradicate the fear. You got to get rid of all the fear, and you got to replace the fear with boldness. It could be quiet boldness. It could be loud boldness, whatever you need to do. But it don't have to be loud. But you have to be bold. If anything you want, I want you to think about anytime you have to transition anywhere in life, career, relationship, certain friendships in your life, right? Moving to a different city. You have to be bold to uproot, pick up everything, and go to a different city where you don't know anybody. That's called being bold. That's called being courageous. But here's the kicker. When you do those things, you end up getting the fortune. You end up experiencing things that you never thought you was going to be able to experience, all because you operated and acted out of your boldness and out of your courage. There's no time that I made a decision for the better that didn't require me being bold and believing in myself, and then I just went down. Every major transition in life, I went up. Every single one. Anytime I had to be bold, my shit went up. Every single time. And that is because God is watching you. God is watching you. And every time you take a step forward, you're going to get met with the same energy. So the more bold you become, the more you get blessed by being bold, because very few people in this world are bold. And that's the key. That's the kicker. That's why fortune truly does favor the bold. Because the more you become bold and you make actual decisions that are in alignment with where you want to go and not where you are, you're going to start to be able to really, really, really change your life for the better. I want everybody to be able to change their life, put themselves in a position to change their life, change their family life, right? Change their brother and sister lives, change their cousin lives, all the people that they love, change their life. But in order to do that, you got to be the one. You got to be the one in your circle. You got to be the one in your family. You literally have to be that one individual that's like, yo, I got this. I got this. I don't care what nobody else talking about. I got this. You got to be that one. I'm taking this on. I'm taking this project on. I'm about to go make this happen. I'm about to go heal. I'm about to go slay these demons. I'm about to go do it all. Right? You got to be the one to take that on. And that means that you have to be bold, because there's going to be a lot of things that show up that's going to be a challenge to you. And if you allow that challenge to overcome you and be bigger than you, what's going to happen? You're not going to overcome the thing. You got to put all your challenges and all your things that are in the way of you, you got to put them below you, so that way the challenge doesn't seem as big. This is how you make your challenges smaller than what they're perceived to be. And then when you make the challenge small, what usually happens? When you make the challenge small, now it's easier to overcome that, because you're not putting the challenge on a pedestal. So stop looking up to your challenges, look down on them. And that's not being said in a cocky way, but that's being said in a very confident way. That's being said from a very bold place. That's the mindset that you have to have on a consistent basis. I'm not talking about for a week. I'm not talking about for 4 days. I'm talking about over months and months and years. When you start doing something for a day, that's cool. 4 days, that's cool. A month, that's smooth. But you don't really see the results of anything that you do until you've been doing it for 3, 6, 9, 12 months, right? The more consistent you do something, the greater the results are going to be later. Right? You got to understand that you don't do things today to get something today. You do things today to get something next year. That's how the game go. And that's how you don't have to work so hard in the future, but you got to lay the groundwork. You got to put the work in. You have to, right? Why was I able to quit my job comfortably? I was making 6 figures a year, right? I was able to walk away from that comfortably because all the work that I had put in all last year. I didn't quit until October of last year. But the whole 2024, I was learning how to trade and I was learning how to become a profitable trader. Right? So I only got here because I did something every single day. I showed up boldly and I didn't care what I had to go through. I didn't care what I had to traverse through. I knew that there was always going to be something in the way. There was always going to be a challenge. There was always going to be some type of mountain. I always knew that. And so I didn't care. The only thing I cared about was showing up every day and handling my business. Win, lose, or draw, I was handling my business. And what that did for me was a whole bunch of deposits that I put in. I like to call them daily deposits, right? If every day I show up in the stock market and some days I make money, some days I lose money, some months I make money, some months I lose money, right? Some months I make, some months I lose. Over time, I'm going to get to a place where I'm not losing no money on a monthly basis. But that does not happen if I don't boldly show up on a consistent basis so that I can learn the actual skill set, so that I can learn what needs to be learned. And this is how you really change your life. This is how you get rich in 2025, in the new year. You change your life and you get rich by simply doing things that very few people are going to do, not one time, not 3 times, but over time. That's how you change your life. That's how you make it happen. That's how you do what it do. That's how you do it. You have to understand something called the compound effect. The longer you do something, the bigger the results are going to become, because it's called the snowball effect. It's called the snowball effect. So if you take a little pebble and you at the top of a snow mountain and you put it right here and you roll it down, what's it going to do? Every time it rolls, it's going to get a little bit bigger. But the bigger it gets, the bigger it's going to get. And this is why I did a live last week talking about how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Because the richer you become, the richer you will become. And the poorer you become, the poorer you will become. And the reason why is because like attracts like. Right? It's easier for me to get more money when I already have money. It's harder for me to get more money when I don't have any money. Right? Trade videos, they really helped. Absolutely. So every day, I'm going to be dropping like my winning trade, like a trade that I learned something from. And I'm going to break down what I saw, why I got in the trade, how the trade went, how much I made, how long I was in the trade, all of that. Right? So I do that to help, because when I was, I want to say when I was coming up, right? But when I was starting out, I wish that I had this type of content, which was like a trade of the day, trade of the week, because that would help me. I was able to read between the lines with a lot of people's content, but this would have helped me tremendously. And so that is why I do what I do on the trading. So I'm glad that helped, and we're going to keep that coming every day, because I show up in the market every day. So it ain't nothing for me to be like, all right, let me just break down one of my trades. It's that simple, right? But I need you to understand that I've taken a lot of L's in life, in the stock market, But every single one of the L's truly, truly, truly set me up for today, for next week, for next month, for last month, right? Everything that you do is literally a setup, but you got to view it in that way. There's something I always tell myself: whatever you believe is the truth. Whatever you believe is the truth. So you got to be very careful with what you believe and what you allow yourself to believe. Because whatever you believe is true. And that's a dangerous thing to understand. So if I believe that I'm the best at something, I'm going to operate as if I'm the best because that is what I believe to be true. Now, if I believe that I'm not the best, I'm not going to operate as if I'm the best because that's not what I believe. Therefore, it's not true. This life game is all about your mentality and your mind, for real. Like, for real. I can't say it enough. You got to get really, really, really serious about what you want, who you want to become. Period, point blank. You have to get very, very, very serious about these things. And then the more serious you get, the more serious the results become. Because when I was selling solar, there was a saying we would always say: if you work like a kid, you're going to get paid like a kid. If you work like a grown man or woman, you're going to get paid like a grown man or woman. So the seriousness in which you approach something is going to dictate the seriousness of the results that you're going to get. So do you want to get serious results? Or do you want to get bullshit, lackluster results? That's why I choose to go all in on things because I know what type of results that I'm looking for. I know what type of results I'm looking for. Your results can guide your action, and your action is going to create the results. I need to write that down because that's a good concept right there. Results and action. But yeah, your daily deposits. We all need to be making real daily deposits into our future. You got to look at your life like a bank account, right? If you look at your life like a bank account, if I put $1 in a bank account every day, in 100 days, I'm going to have $100. If I put $5 in my bank account, in 100 days, I'm going to have $500 every single day. So you got to ask yourself, what type of deposits do I want to put in my bank? If you ain't putting no deposits in the bank, don't expect to have no bread when it's time to cash out. But if you want to have something in the future, then you going to need to get real with the type of deposits that you got to put in. If I want to grow a YouTube channel to whatever level, I got to get real in alignment with the actions that it's going to take. Period. It's not about the subscribers. It's not about the views. It's about the consistency. It's about the discipline. It's about showing up. Do you know how many people quit YouTube, trading, having a business, anything? People just be quitting willy-nilly for no reason, right? So if you don't quit, you will be closer to mega success a lot more than somebody else that quits. You gotta stop developing the habit of quitting just for no reason. Now, if you got to walk away from something, that's different. And quitting and walking away are two different things. I made a whole video on that, and that's about to be dropping in a couple weeks anyway. But you have to learn how to go all in on something because the amount of effort that you put in is going to dictate the amount of results. Serious effort, serious results. Bullshit effort, bullshit results. Look at life. Look all around you. Go to work tomorrow and just look at somebody that ain't where you want to be and look at the effort based on the job that they've put in. And you're going to see the results. If it's somebody that you look up to, they got a beautiful house, amazing family, everybody good, everybody looking healthy, everybody looking strong. You want to look at or ask them, yo, what did it really look like when you was in grind mode, when you was building? And then you want to match that up with the results. Because me, I want some serious results. I want some real serious results. Therefore, I got to put serious effort into this thing. Whatever this thing is. I know what this thing is for me, but you got to define what that thing is for you. And you have to be bold on a consistent basis. You got to be bold. I can't stress it enough. You got to be willing. If the whole world turned on you, you got to be willing to stand 10 toes down on who you are and what you got going on and what direction you going in. You have to be, that's the type of time you got to be on. That's the type of level you got to be operating on. And that's real talk, because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't really self-assess and go all in on the effort, right? You got to be tunnel vision. Stop listening to people that's not where you want to be. That's toxic. Stop listening to people where you want to be. I only listen to people that's where I want to be. I don't listen to people that I want to be. I listen to people that is where I want to be, because I don't want to be anybody. But if somebody is in a position, or they've amassed a certain level of something, or they've overcame certain things that I haven't overcame yet, or I'm not even there yet, I'm going to listen to them because they have some type of insight. And that's another skill in and of itself. Learn how to, the Bible says, seek wise counsel. You got to learn how to turn your ego off and listen to somebody that could help guide you and help you get where you want to go. If you don't know how to be a student, how are you ever going to be a teacher? It's impossible. It's completely impossible, right? This is real life stuff that we talking about right now. You could literally, you could have an unfathomable amount of success, wealth, joy, peace, everything, if you just get in alignment. That's all you got to do. If you just get in alignment, stop bullshitting, start cutting off people that you need to cut off, cutting off habits that you need to cut off, cutting off things that you need to cut off, and you really, really, really lock in and get serious on what the mission is. If you can do that, you are going to be able to draw in things in your life that you couldn't even see. That's how real the game is. Because let me tell you something. When you plant seeds in your mind does not know, or it doesn't care what the seed is. Your mind ain't going to be like, that's negative, we're not going to germinate that. No. Your mind is going to be like, all right, that's what you're giving us? All right, it's time to build it up. It's time to start watering this. But what's going to happen if you give your mind some great shit, some positive shit? What's going to happen then? Then your mind is going to start nurturing that. And those good things, those positive things, those great things. Your mind don't care what's planted in it. It's just going to do what it do. And that's why this shit is so powerful. That's why it's so powerful. So I want you to really, really think about this and really, really, really understand what you want in your life, how you going to make it happen, and what do you need to overcome to make it happen. This is the year of being bold and not being fearful of anything. Don't be fearful of shit, because the fear, it really don't exist. You can plot, you can strategize, but at some point you got to pull the trigger, right? And you got to make it happen. You got to close your eyes. You got to say your prayers, close your eyes, and make it happen. It don't matter what it is. The key is to stay in the pocket and go all in and make it happen. You gotta have so much internal willpower that you know you could run through a brick wall if you got to, period, point blank. That's how real it got to be. That's how deep it got to be. And I mean that with everything inside of me. Right? So that's how we getting down. So fortune favors the bold, y'all. Fortune favors the bold. Point blank, period. Fortune favors the bold. If you remain bold and you make decisions out of being bold and confidence, man, you're going to get all your fortunes. You don't even need to worry about what you're going to get because it's coming. Right? But the second you cower and you give up and you go into a corner, nah, you're not getting shit. And it's a harsh reality, but it just is what it is. Right? So that's how we coming. That's how we getting down. So I hope that this made sense. If you got here, share this with somebody, right? Go bless them with the message. Fortune favors the bold. Always remember, get out of your head and get into this world because your head is a dangerous place to live in. Be sure to tap into the daily videos, Wednesdays, Fridays. Every single day I'm dropping some heat, whether it's inspiration, your mindset, or it's a trade of the day. I'm dropping content daily on YouTube. So be sure to tap in, subscribe to the channel, like this video for me, and I'm going to holler at you on the next video. Peace.